Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. My name is Moiz. I'm from OCI Product Management. And today, along with my colleagues, I will be talking about Oracle Cloud Infrastructure that's built for enterprise. Right? Now, in the morning, Abdurrahman, in his keynote, talked about data being the lifeblood. Data is what connects you to your customers, to your end customers, supply chain, finance. And Oracle has been providing you with mission-critical database systems and application for decades in the on-prem world. Now we understand that our customers and partners, as they embrace cloud, as they transition to cloud, they need to preserve the architectures and effective implementation that they have built and optimized over years of usage. This is a very important point to consider. Over years of usage, you have an on-prem environment that is running and doing what? Running your business. So when Oracle decided to go into cloud, it assembled some of the smartest talent out there who have built Gen 1 cloud and large-scale infrastructure. And we were given the charter to build a cloud bottom-up, keeping in mind that this is being built for enterprise customers. Enterprise customers who have an existing business that they are running. And these are very, very large customers who have been trusting Oracle for decades. So we embrace the principles, some of the key principles of Gen 1, elasticity, scale, on-demand, self-service. But then when we talk about Oracle Cloud for enterprise customers, we need to think about performance, scalability, availability. Those are table stakes. So Gen 2 Cloud that we talked about caters to that. And when we say Gen 2, this is not a marketing term. It's a fundamentally different architecture built for enterprise customers. We don't focus on micro instances or VMwares with time-sliced fractional CPU allocations. Some of the other providers do. We don't. We focus on real businesses running production workloads. And workloads doing what? As I said, workloads running your critical business systems, workloads that may have to scale up or scale out. Workloads that may need the reliability of a solid traditional hardware, but at the same time, in addition to, plan-to-fail approach of cloud. Workload that may require low latency access to memory, storage, and network. That is what the kind of cloud we have built, which can take on these kind of workloads, which can give you the things I was just talking to you about. Before the event, we did a quick survey of the region. Right? Within Gulf, 87% of the entities, the enterprise, I would not say customer because not 100% of the people are customer, 87% of the enterprise entities in Gulf, the top entities, is using cloud. You have been trusting us for that. And 54% of them have already, in some form or fashion, have started their cloud journey with Oracle. And thank you for that business. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have been busy. Oracle Cloud started 4 years back, right? And as Andy in his earlier keynote had mentioned that, we had the second mover advantage. We were not there in the first, but we had the second mover advantage. Oftentimes, I get asked by customers for the last couple of years since I've been on this thing, where do you guys stay on the Gartner's Magic Quadrant? Right? And my answer is, we aren't looking at any of that right now. We're just focusing on building the right thing for our enterprise customers. So we have been busy building the right fundamental cloud for our enterprise customers. Now that we have built, we're expanding rapidly. Last year, when I was standing on the stage, we only had 4 regions around that, right? Right now, when I stand on the stage, I can proudly say that we have 17 regions that are live, 17 public cloud regions that are live. By end of January, early February, we will have 21 regions live. And what's very important for this region, for this audience, you will see over here in next couple of weeks, Jeddah is going live in Saudi Arabia. By end of this calendar year, before this calendar year, we will have 36 regions live. And you can do the math how fast we are rolling it out. We can do that because this is also related to the engineering innovation that we have done, the optimization that we have done in the software and the processes that allows us to roll out a complete new software-defined data center with accompanying customer-facing cloud product in matter of days. And not just in matter of days, in the most consistent manner. And this is an important term, guys. As you have been probably looking at other cloud providers, you know that, okay, we are coming live in, let's say, UAE. Would you have these services available in UAE? What about in Australia? Would we have these services? Because the issue with the Gen 1 is there's a baggage that they carry with themselves. They're not starting ground up. So it makes it difficult for them to roll out consistent services day one. So day one, as you will see once again on this slide, for Middle East Africa, we will have 5 regions this calendar year. So as I mentioned, in the next couple of weeks, we are going live in Jeddah, the first hyperscaler in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, as the customers move to Jeddah region, these are large enterprise customers that we've been working with, really, really large. As they evolve the solution, they will need a DR solution. And the DR cannot be in the same metropolitan. You know, some people may argue that, oh, I have this free data center, ADs, AZs, what do you want to call that? No, the DR has to be far away. We all know that. You guys are enterprise customers. So what you will also notice over here, that we will be opening up another region in Saudi Arabia. So in Saudi Arabia, we'll have 2 regions, full regions. All the services that are in Jeddah region will be available in the other region. Similarly, in UAE, we'll also have 2 regions. And the reason we're looking for that, because we understand that the world is changing. We can't just take a big bang approach, put one large data center, 3 data centers together in Middle East. No, because of data residency issues, you need the hyperscale cloud in the country, but you need 2 regions to get the entire DR. Now that we have aggressively rolling out, now that we have foundational architectures in place, at the same time, as you can see, we have been actively working to get the right services on top of this architecture. So, millions of IOPS that you can get for a database, the fastest storage, compute. So when we talk about compute, probably we are the only hyperscaler out there which can give you on the same architecture a form factor of VM all the way to one of the most powerful systems that you guys run, Exadata systems. Yes, you can have Exadata on cloud on one click on the same architecture. We give you bare metal, a real bare metal in every region. And the reason we can do that is because our underlying architecture allows us to do that. So, as I mentioned earlier, it was very important for us to make sure that the experience is consistent. And as we have rolled out these regions, as we are building these services, what is also important for you, we talked about performance and whatnot, pricing. Are we cheaper? Of course, we'll say we are cheaper. And yes, we are cheaper. And when I talk to sales, I was talking to a customer yesterday, and I said, what will be your decision criteria? And he's like, economics, pricing, performance, right? Data residency. So I said, we will not lose this opportunity on price and performance. We can lose this opportunity for a service or feature you may need now, and we may not have it. And why do I say that? Because, as I mentioned, we are not just cheaper, at the same time, our prices are consistent across all the regions. So the price you're going to get in the Jeddah region, you're going to get the same price in South Africa. You're going to get the same price in Melbourne. And we're just not cheaper and consistent. Our pricing is simpler. So all you buy is universal credit. All you buy is universal credit. And then you can subscribe to any of the cloud services you want. And we have been launching a lot of new services lately. There are a couple of services that I would like to talk about. Right? What is the promise of cloud? Pay for what you use it, when you use it. What's that? That's elasticity, right? We all claim, all cloud providers claim that we give elastic solution. But is it really elastic? Let's say I'm a customer, and for my application workload, I need 10-core server. A cloud vendor may have an 8-core server or may have a 12-core server. Remember, customers are constrained by the shapes that the cloud provider gives them. So if I need an application, a server for a 10-core application, what do? I will get the shape with 12 cores. So I'm paying extra for the cores. And what if I'm running an application whose licensing is based on cores? I have to pay extra for the application also. Right? Is that true elasticity? Not really. Is that easy? No. It's a very complex engineering problem to solve. And this is exactly what we have solved. What we have announced, you pick the number of cores in memory you need. You pick the number of cores in memory you need. And you scale up and down. Similarly, for storage, you decide the amount of storage you need to attach to the instance. And then you decide whether you want to pay for peak performance or for optimized cost. You make that decision. That's true elasticity. Another thing I want to talk about, and these days is very important, is artificial intelligence and big data. The challenge over there is, because everything is AI, even if it is not, right? So it becomes a very siloed approach. We have a different view of the world. Our view of the world is we are building a cloud platform for AI and big data, the same OCI platform, and which will offer services all the way from data ingestion to data management, all the way to predictive analytics. And in the last month or so, we have announced many new services in this space that are now natively available on OCI. For example, OCI data flow allows you to get, the easiest way to run Apache Spark. What is that? It's a managed Spark, and all you need is an Oracle Cloud account. And everything else, configuring, installing, maintaining, all done. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to redo your code. That's what we talk about cloud native, and that's available natively. You may have also heard about a company that we acquired a year or so back called datascience.com. That's one of the topmost talent in the space of data science. And probably after that, you have not heard much about what happened. So we in OCI, in the engineering organization, have been busy working in incorporating all of the technology into our cloud platform and making it natively available on OCI. And that's what we have announced. So now, using our data science, actually our data science service empowers data scientists with the tools, infrastructure, and workflows on Oracle Cloud. So the data scientists would not waste their time on unnecessary things and can focus on the things that they're good at. So the reason I only talked about two of the two new services, we have announced much more. It shows the spectrum in which we are working in. And the reason I mentioned, while it may sound simpler, these are complex engineering problems that we have tried to solve to really make the cloud ready for enterprise workloads. The next thing that I'm going to quickly talk about is cloud native. Anyone who has worked on the Gen 1 with, we talk about being multi-vendor and not having a vendor lock-in. Anyone who has worked on Gen 1 for a long period of time on this cloud native stuff would have realized that it's the biggest vendor lock-in in the IT history, if you've really worked on it. We embrace cloud native in letter and spirit. Our view of the world is that the enterprise customers trying to build modern cloud native application should have portability and choice. So we embrace the de facto standards. We support Oracle, we support open source, we support third-party applications. So whether it is CNSCF and FN for functions, whether it's Kafka compatibility for streaming, whether it is Kubernetes for cloud container orchestration or whatnot, we support that fully in the most native fashion. Now what we like to do with what has been happening in the region, especially with some of the industry events that has happened, security is a very important topic. So now I'm going to introduce Johnnie, who leads the OCI product management for security, and she's going to walk you through the security.
Thanks, Moiz. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. Thank you for the brave souls that have turned out for this presentation at the end of a long 2 days, but security is worth it. Seeing my name in quite this big a type print, not so much. But let's have a look at what we mean in terms of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure and how we think of security. You have probably heard the Capital One breach referenced several times throughout your 2 days here. Well-known credit card company, 100 million records stolen from the instances that were hosted in a well-known competitor's public cloud. If we learned anything from that particular breach, there was a confluence of events, a number of things that were misconfigured, but really what it highlighted to us is that no amount of security tools that a mature cloud service provider makes available to customers is going to prevent a data breach. I can give you a whole bag of tools, security applications and services, and we're still going to have breaches like Capital One. Why? Because it is entirely too complex, too onerous to keep track of all of that tooling and those configurations. So we looked at this and we thought our view of the world going forward on security should be providing our customers with security that is always on and as automated as possible. So the idea is that our customers are not security experts. And even if they do have in-house security expertise and it happens to be on cloud or even multi-cloud, they don't have enough of these people to administer all of the various knobs and levers that need to be pulled in order to make security effective. So our promise to you is, as tenants of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure and users of Oracle applications, that we bring to you not a bag of tools, but a platform. Now, I want you to think about this, a platform that delivers security holistically, and we are uniquely qualified to do this. Because if you think about it, we're not just providing Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, which, by the way, is the cloud for ourselves. We make the hardware, we run the infrastructure, we provide the hardened operating system, we provide the databases, we provide the applications. So this ecosystem of infrastructure, operating system, SaaS applications gives us a holistic view into the estate, the cloud estate that you're trying to protect. We are able to put security automation capabilities, sensors, mitigation techniques around this ecosystem so that we can bring you a holistic approach to security. So in the coming months, if you hopefully keep track of us and our security announcements, what you're going to hear and see is CloudGuard, a step change in cloud security, configuration management, automated mitigation, number-driven risk reduction. CloudGuard is going to give our customers a way to manage their cloud security estate by a risk score, track it month to month, quarter to quarter, show it to boards of directors, help non-security people understand the security posture that a customer has on our cloud. But more importantly, it will give the facility and the mechanisms by which to do what? Monitor Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, monitor SaaS applications for security, security configurations, anomalous activity, detections that are consistent with known vulnerabilities and emerging or 0 days, and give specific mitigation guidance, and in some cases, take automated action to reduce that risk. Quarantine an instance, force a patch. CloudGuard will be the command center for Oracle Cloud Security Infrastructure. And what is probably an industry first, and I say probably just to be polite to the other clouds, what is undoubtedly an industry first will be maximum security zones. You see, up until this point, cloud providers and security providers alike have been reluctant to make security compulsory. We believe that if you're going to put your critical enterprise workloads with us, we should give you the option to put them in the most secure environment possible, equipped with a mechanism to enforce every single security control and best practice. And guess what? It will not allow control drift. You can't turn it off. You can't switch the default. Can't pull data out of there. The idea is that if you deploy in a maximum security zone, you effectively have a guarantee that configuration drift is simply not possible. And with that, we are going to move the industry toward where it should be. Automated security that is always on. Thank you so much for listening to that short spiel. And with that, it gives me pleasure to introduce on stage Andy Fenselau, Director of Product Management. Come on up here.
Yeah, it's me again. I'm sorry. For those of you who are here this morning, thank you. Thanks, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
So, do you guys remember what Andrew Sutherland and I both talked about this morning? What were the 3 first design objectives for OCI? Johnny. No, security. So, I want to talk a little bit about how our customers have been pushing us very hard to do some things that are also challenges for the traditional first-generation cloud providers. And that is, the enterprise public cloud needs to be an open public cloud. What do I mean by open? It means multi-cloud. It means you can easily move workloads, workflows, data, DR, lots of different use cases across one cloud and another cloud. Now, as we know, the first generation clouds, they charge a lot if you want to move the data. They certainly don't have interconnects. They absolutely don't have things like joint support. So that's what we have been working really hard on. The first one is with this little company in Redmond, Washington called Microsoft. And we, after well over a year of negotiations and then joint development, are thrilled to have this deep, true interoperability and interconnect partnership with them so that you guys can have workloads and workflows on both sides. So there's really three pieces to this one. Piece one is back to security. It is federated identity management. That really gives you two things. One is security. Identities on either side, Microsoft Azure side or Oracle Cloud side, will require the restricted access. The second piece of it, though, is user experience. Single sign-on from either side will be enabled. So that's a key part. The second piece of this partnership is the interconnect. So in each region, essentially, we take the OCI data center and the Azure data center, and we put a dedicated super high bandwidth, super low latency pipe to connect them. Lots of security. You get your virtual private networks. For you guys, it's a simple service you take directly out of the console. You don't have to go through a third party, but it's also super secure for you. The coolest thing about this, though, is we're talking about 1 millisecond latencies. In the regions we have deployed this so far, we're getting real-time sustained latencies of 1.1 milliseconds. So this means even the most performance-sensitive workloads can effectively, functionally go back and forth between the two clouds. The third piece of this is that support. And I think we've all experienced what happens sometimes when two big companies get together, they make a marketing announcement, and then you hit a real-world problem, and this happens. They're pointing at each other for support, and you're stuck. That is not the model that we have created here. Again, because some very, very large joint customers have kicked us both in the butts and told us, we don't want this. We don't want to sign extra support contracts. We just want you guys to have a standardized, integrated, joint support model. If we escalate it through Microsoft, OCI needs to come in, and vice versa. So that's what we've done. The result of this is dozens of customers are already running real workloads where they may be standing up a full stack Oracle database with a custom app on OCI and a related stack with MySQL or SQL Server on Microsoft and moving the data back and forth as needed. Analytics stacks, Power BI running on Autonomous Data Warehouse, Power BI on Azure running on Autonomous Data Warehouse on OCI. Very cool analytics solution. Cloud native and app dev solutions, all similar sorts of opportunities. So you can put the right workload on the right cloud for you. Next, another mission impossible partnership that took a long time with lots of interesting history that I will not get into because I might even get fired. But this is something else that many of our biggest joint enterprise customers have been looking for years. Now, the reason why the most demanding VMware workloads have not been able to migrate to the Gen 1 public clouds and have not been able to do cloud bursting to push out peak demand when they don't have enough capacity on-prem, push it out to a public cloud. The reason why is a surprisingly simple but important reason. Layer 2 networking. Believe it or not, no other public cloud, none of the Gen 1 public clouds, can provide the Layer 2 networking to run VMware natively. The VMware services like the Nicira network virtualization, the vSAN, all the things that go into that VMware foundation cannot run natively on any other public cloud. It has to be as a service, VMware as a service. So as a result, you don't get control. You don't get control over your security, you don't get control over your updates, you don't get control over your patches. You have to do it when that cloud vendor says you have to do it. Large enterprise workloads, they need the control. It is just part of how you do business. You finally have an option with OCI and VMware. It is, again, built on some of the very unique technologies that we have created in OCI, like our networking approach. Together, we have worked very hard to build out an integrated management console, so these operations can be done directly, natively, by your VM admins. So this is something else that's rolling out now in beta, and we're excited to see it come here later next quarter. Last but not least, marketplace. So your enterprise workloads, your enterprise stacks, it's a lot more than just a database and an app. There's a lot of other layers to that stack. It's important, one, that they are certified and supported on the public cloud that you're using. Two, that you have the agility, in many cases, for one-click deployment automation. Again, we're all about autonomy and automation. To roll those out with the simple support of something like Terraform scripting. So that's an important part of how we're building out our enterprise marketplace solution for you. Again, as Moiz mentioned, it can be bring your own license or the true cloud promise of pay-as-you-go. So those are just 3 of the open cloud and partnership stuff that I wanted to share. Thank you very much. Back to you, Moiz.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw, if you have carefully looked at what Andy talked about and Johnnie, how we are even rolling out some of the new services, it's a very customer-centric approach. These are some complex engineering problems that we're trying to solve. And we're trying to solve this problem because we understand what you're running on your current on-prem environment. So our objective is that you should be whatever IT assets you have in the on-prem world, you can actually move those IT assets onto the Oracle Cloud as seamlessly, as easily as possible, preserving the architectures, because that is the way you can actually start your cloud journey. And as you move them, then with the new and valued cloud services that you're coming up with, you build your data-driven future. Thank you so much for attending. We look forward to partnering with you in this cloud journey, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.